Now today we are discussing something about the force. What is force? The agency which tends to change the state of the body is known as force. When we talk of the force, we are supposed to know what are the characteristics of the forces. There are defined by three maximum parameters. One is the magnitude, another is the direction, and third is the point of application. Just like this. You can see this is the magnitude shows say 1 centimeter is equal to 1 kilonewton, this is 3 centimeter, then this indicates that the force is of that of 3 kilonewton. Similarly, the direction in which direction it acts, and finally the point of application where it is applied. This is called the point of application. So we will have to mention something about the arrow also, showing the direction and the point of application along with the magnitude. Generally, the forces are defined in the two ways. One is the compressive force, when the force are acting and try to compress this body in this direction, try to reduce the dimension, that called the compressive force, or when it pull it out, it push it back, that we call as the tensile force. Generally, third force is also we call as a shear force or the tangential force which is acting over here, but at this stage we are not defining that particular force over here. When we talk of the force, force is defined by another parameter about its nature, means whether it is positive or negative. Just see this coordinate geometry. Here this is origin, this is positive x, this is positive negative x, this is positive y, this is negative y. The forces acting in the direction toward the positive side of the x is denoted as positive. The forces acting toward this side away from this origin towards left side is always identified as negative. Similarly, the forces acting upward may be here or maybe here or maybe here, but when the forces are acting upward, we denote that force as a positive force, and the force acting downward is called as a denoted as a negative force. So given direction will be given according to their sign conventions. Now various types of forces and its combination. Parallel forces. When the forces are parallel to each other, they are not coinciding at all, they are not meeting at anywhere for a long distance up to infinite also, we call these as parallel forces. Then non-parallel forces. The forces are not parallel to each other, but they are not parallel, but they are supposed to meet somewhere over here at any point. That is called non-parallel forces. Coplanar forces. When number of forces or any force acting in one plane, maybe horizontal plane, maybe vertical plane, maybe inclined plane or whatsoever it may be. When number of forces are acting in the same plane, we call it the coplanar forces. Non-coplanar forces. If some forces are acting in x direction, that is in horizontal plane, and others are acting in vertical direction, that is vertical plane, then we call that as a non-coplanar forces. Concurrent forces. When the forces are meeting at one point, we call as the concurrent forces. Then concurrent forces, when the forces are not meeting at that point, we call as non-concurrent forces. Collinear, when the forces are in the same direction of line of force, we call as the collinear, and the line of action are not so same, so we call as a non-collinear forces. Now, another definition for this permutation and combination of this can be non-coplanar, non-collinear, so on and so forth. We can also make the permutation and combination, that is coplanar, concurrent, non-coplanar, non-concurrent, non-coplanar, concurrent, whatsoever it may be. Now when I am talking about the forces, that is the resultant of the force. When the two forces, say I call it P and Q, are meeting at some angle theta, then the resultant of that force can be calculated, because it is a vector quantity, can be calculated mathematically by cosine formula, that is resultant R is equal to P square plus Q square plus twice PQ cos of theta. This will give the resultant. That you must have already studied somewhere in your previous classes so far, but I am here talking something about the different method for finding out the resultant. This is all the mathematical expressions or analytical methods for calculation of the resultant. But now I am talking something about the graphical method to find out the resultant. And that method is governed by the two laws. First law we call as the law of triangle of forces. Now we deal with the law of triangle of forces. What is law of triangle of forces? If two forces are simultaneously meeting at point, if drawn in a cyclic order, then the closing side of a triangle will be the resultant of the forces taken in opposite direction. I will repeat it once again. If the two forces are meeting at point, or two forces, P and Q say, are meeting at point, if drawn in a cyclic order, means if we are going in anti-clockwise direction, we will go in an anti-clockwise direction. If we will go in a clockwise direction, then we will maintain that clockwise order cycle, and then we will try to find out. Then draw accordingly cyclic order, and the closing side of that is the resultant taken in opposite direction. Of course, I will show you some slide showing that how we are talking something about the law of triangle of forces. Just see, these are the P and Q. They are the two forces, maybe acting at any angle so far. Here I am not giving any angle so far. If they are acting at some angle theta, then how to find out the resultant? By using law of triangle of forces. Now draw a line parallel to this of force P of whatever magnitude and the scale that we are going to concern. Then cyclic order, then after this we are going in this direction. So now we are taking this force right from here to here, which is parallel to this and according to magnitude. Now these two forces are drawn in a cyclic order when it is joined together, which is completing the triangle. So this red line, which is a closing side of a triangle, will be a resultant taken in opposite direction, because this force is acting in this direction, this force is acting in this direction. Actually, third force must act in this direction, but according to the law of triangle of forces, the resultant is nothing but the closing side of a triangle taken in opposite direction. That will directly give the resultant instead of using the cosine rule or something like this. Now here we are discussing something about the two forces. Now if the forces are more than two, we can call it the polygon of forces. So we are defining now the another important formula, or we have another important rule which we can call it law of polygon of forces. So number of forces are more than 2. So number of forces when acting at one point, again drawn in a cyclic order as per the magnitude and direction, then the closing side of the polygon will give the resultant in opposite direction. Will give the opposite direction. Just like see this problem, there are P, Q, S and T, two forces, third force and the fourth force. All the four forces are acting at this point. All the four forces are acting over here. And now I will start from this point. Now this is parallel to this. Second, I am going in anti-clockwise direction. So then I will consider secondly this force, then thirdly this force, and the fourth one. I will go in this direction. I will draw a parallel line considering one cyclic order. Either you can go from this direction, you can go from this direction. It makes no difference. The resultant will remain same. But I have just now, for our sake, I have taken that anti-clockwise direction. So I have drawn P parallel to P, from P to Q, then Q to S, and S to T. Then last line, closing the side of a polygon with an opposite nature, is called the resultant of the forces. Is called the resultant of the forces. This has been derived from law of triangle of forces. Yes, I am repeating. This is again derived from the same law of triangle of forces. How? Just see. First of all, I am talking about the force P and Q. When I am talking about the P and Q, this is the resultant of a law of according to law of triangle of forces. Now, when I am talking about this resultant and this S, again this is a triangle. Again this is a triangle. And this will give the resultant of these two forces. Which are these four forces? This force and this force. Now, when I am considering this force now again, when this is the resultant, then this and this again will be resultant of this over here. So, we are following the law of triangle of forces, but for multiple forces. And that's why we call it a law of polygon of forces. Now, I will come some typical case which we can call as resolution of forces, or we can call the finding out the components of the forces in other directions. What is resolution? That I will let you know. But first of all, let's see. There are one force inclined acting over here at some angle theta with a horizontal. Draw a line AB and BC perpendicular and horizontal like this. Now, you have already studied something about the cos theta and the sin theta. Cos theta is nothing but the base upon hypotenuse. Cos theta is nothing but the base upon hypotenuse. So, base is AB and hypotenuse is AC. From this, if we can find the value of AB, AB is equal to AC cos of theta or P cos of theta. What does it mean? It means the horizontal effect of this inclined force, the magnitude is just equal to AB. If suppose I am applying a force horizontally of 10 kilonewton, only the 10 kilonewton will be applied and body will try to go move in a horizontal direction only. If I apply force in this direction with a 20 kilonewton, body will try to move only in this direction, not in other direction so far. But if I have given inclined force like this, it has got some horizontal component and some vertical component, and final outcome will be like this. So the horizontal effect, the horizontal component shows that the horizontal effect of this incline is AB and its vertical effect is BC, or which is called just like this also, because this is just equal. So we can, if we can find out this horizontal effect of this inclined force P, which makes an angle of theta with horizontal line, then its effect will be AB cos of AB is equal to AC cos of theta. Similarly, its vertical effect will be nothing but sin theta perpendicular upon hypotenuse. So perpendicular is BC upon AC. So we can find out the vertical component, that is BC, that is AC sine of theta, that is B sine of theta. Also we know that AD is equal to BC. So we can resolve the forces in the two directions, horizontal direction as well as the vertical direction. We call that the resolution of forces, or the component of this inclined force in the two direction, along the x direction, along the y direction, that is horizontally as well as vertically. And can be proved whether these components are really equal to the result, the sum of these two, vector sum of these two is really equal to the resultant or not. Just see now. Now looking toward this, we know AB square plus BC square is equal to AC square. Keeping this over here again, AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square. Substituting AC square is nothing but P square. AB square is equal to P square cos square theta, and BC square is equal to P square sin square theta. Taking the P square as common, then cos square theta plus sin square theta, or we can call it sin square theta plus cos square theta equal to 1. So we can say yes, if the square of the two is added with this each other, will give the square of the resultant. So P is equal to B. So we can say the horizontal effect we can call as the horizontal resolution. Effect of this inclined force in a horizontal direction we call as horizontal resolution. Effect of this inclined force in a vertical direction is known as resolution in vertical direction, or effect of this inclined force in a vertical direction. One thing you must have noticed over here, that when I am resolving this force in horizontal as well as in vertical direction, I am repeating, when I am resolving the force, this inclined force in the horizontal and vertical direction, I have always taken an angle of this inclined force with the horizontal only, not this angle, not this angle. So whenever now you want to resolve the force horizontally, you have to make this angle with the horizontal and make it cos of theta. And if you want to resolve its component in the vertical direction, make it sine of theta. That is, P cos of theta will give the horizontal effect and P sine of theta will give the vertical effect, and theta will always be the horizontal. This is the most important thing that you have to keep in your mind. Now, as I have already told my first slide rather, that if the forces are acting towards right of x, we call that positive. If acting away from the positive side, that is away from toward the left, it will be taken as negative. If acting upward, then it is to be taken as positive, and if acting downward, then it will be taken as negative. Upward positive and downward negative. Now, the question is very simple. How to find out whether the force horizontal component is positive or negative, or vertical component is positive or negative? Very simple. If you know the force is acting in this, put your pencil over tip of the pen or pencil over here and try to resolve it in this direction. Where the arrow will be facing